Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my Japanese blueberries. Oh.
My phone, my website.
I don't think it's
Not like the code.
Thank you.
My grass here. Somebody else may turn on the microphone while I'm starting.
It's been like 2 years since we've done that.
Ooh, yeah.
So exciting.
Keep that. Hold down faith for a while. That was a redwood tree. Yeah. We're still feeling like we're still good. Two of them in my backyard. Dad and a doorknob. Is it one of us?
Really?
It took a while, but
One of us.
That's surprising.
I held out as long as I could.
Phones around it.
Yeah,
Or
they're big too.
should we have all of them?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Oaks did fine, I think.
I don't think so.
They're a little thickly, but.
I mean, you can't tell right now, there's no leaves on it.
Drink Elms, I thought would have done better.
I lost the eye. It's like when y'all put the phone, they work, I don't know. Okay.
It has that kind of that fruit looking bark.
The lace bark, elm, Chinese elm. Okay.
They have a lot of them.
It's 5:30 and we'll call the Sugar Land Parks Board meeting to order. The first item, the third item on the agenda, the public comments. Wanted to make sure that we don't have any public comments. Or the humming noise. So I room number 4 workshop. A, review and discussion of the social media efforts and marketing plan. Tricia will be giving us a report for that.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. It is that time of year where I have the pleasure of regaling you all with an overview of our social media efforts and marketing plan. We have this lovely ambiance to join us. So the city has a policy for social media use, and it details the appropriate uses of social media as a representative of the city and also appropriate uses as a staff member of the city. Social media as defined by the city is a set of internet tools enabling users to participate in community experiences online and to connect with people of common interest to learn, play, work, organize, and socialize. Our city policy covers best practices of social media, response times, and also includes a comment moderation matrix based on industry standards regarding social responses and when it's appropriate to cross-share content from other departments within the city, as well as organizations that we partner with. For example, this past spring, we were sharing a lot of posts about Sugar Land Youth Sports Associations, and hopefully it helped spread the word about spring leagues. So when we're planning content and posting to our social media, we want to make sure that we are using one consistent voice as a city. It's not just our department. We are under the umbrella of the city of Sugar Land, and the fire department has a social media page. Petopia, Sugar Land Animal Services. So we've defined what our voice will be as friendly, fun, lighthearted, but still professional. So you'll see a few examples of our voice in future slides. We try to respond to social media comments within 1 hour. We're looking at so many different places and platforms that sometimes it can be a challenge. And I'm very thankful that I have the eyes and ears of Kimberly Terrell over there, because she's always like, what are you going to say that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. I don't know how she does it. And some of the questions that we ask when planning content include, does this make sense coming from our social media? Is this content going to promote transparency? And will this content pose more questions? So our primary objectives for social media include to support the mission of the city by providing excellent customer service through our social media platforms. We have so many different ways that the community can reach out to us. We've got 311. We have our Park Rec email, which is where a lot of people go, but sometimes people are just like, why didn't you do this? Or why is this water fountain not working? So we're like, oh, well, we will get right on that. And a lot of times, like, it's just a great place to let us know about great things that are happening in the parks, and we'll share those. And that's always the best kind of comments and interaction, is the positive ones. And then our secondary objectives are to really just build awareness about our department. We realized that a lot of people don't even know about our senior center. And that was a huge realization for us when we put on our survey last year. And so that's a really important thing. We're also building awareness about offerings and just our services, all of our events throughout the year, and then advocating for parks and recreation by sharing studies and information on why parks matter. And they do a lot. That there are just a huge amount of benefits to parks, as I'm sure that you all know. That's why you're on the Parks Board, and we love to share those little tidbits of information. So some challenges and opportunities. So each platform, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and each platform has a different audience. So really just trying to focus on understanding that audience, because different posts types are needed. They have different audiences. We have different demographics. We have different ages. So we do try and stay up to date on those, and try and stay up to date on like the best ways of crafting responses. The City of Sugar Land's Facebook page, they do such a great job of keeping on top of the trends. Like, I don't know who plays Wordle, but Kimberly's like, yeah. But they had a wonderful post about Wordle, and it was like, Sugar Land makes sweet something that was great. That tied into Sugar Land being sweet, and it was Wordle, and it was great. So they do a great job of that, and it kind of helps me to be inspired to you know, just push the envelope a little bit, not do anything crazy, but just to be silly and keep that lighthearted nature, because I think that people pay a lot more attention when they can get more engagement out of our posts. So comments, response time is important, but so is the quality of the comment and whether it will raise more questions. So sometimes I have to get with Kimberly or William or Joe and make sure that the comments that we're crafting is going to pose the most transparency, that it's not going to pose more questions, and that the comment is thorough and accurate, so that it helps our users get the answer that they're looking for. So our follower base over the last year, our Facebook followers increased by 8.5%, Instagram followers increased by 16.5%, and Twitter's followers increased by 7%. It's always nice when that trend is upward, not downward. So an overview of our Facebook page. This is definitely our largest platform by far. And it's our primary platform for paid marketing efforts when we're really trying to get the word out about our events and services. We create an event page on Facebook for all of our events, and that really just helps Facebook users. A lot of times they're looking for things to do in the area, and that just helps target a different audience. And while we often promote posts so that they have a higher amount of users seeing them, the ones here are examples of popular posts without any promotion at all. These are organic likes and comments. And it's hard to see, but this one here has 445 likes, which I think is the most that we've ever had in my time here in almost 2 years. This is like an award-winning photo from the Cullinan Park Conservancy's photography contest. Last year in 2021, and I was just looking through it one day, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Did not think that it was gonna get 400 something likes, but that was amazing. And this other one here that has 274 likes, I did not know how many people in Sugar Land like to fish. I did not know, but we told them about fish stockings, and they were just like, yes, they tagged all of their friends, and they're like, let's go. know. So, I mean, more power to them. So now we're like, okay, fish stockings, whenever we need some quick engagement, taking notes.
Fun fact, Tricia, you helped me get the stalking program back to Sugar Land Memorial Park.
Yes, we have a lot more fish stockings from a few years ago. We noticed that there's a Texas Parks and Wildlife neighborhood fishing program, and they also do community fish stockings. And we just noticed that we were like not getting on the list. So we looked into it, and yeah, William and I have been happy to report that there are fish in Sugar Land Lakes. So Instagram, we just hit 3,000 followers, I think a month ago. It is our second largest platform. And I personally love Instagram because there's a really unique opportunity to have this really pretty grid layout. And I think sometimes people don't take advantage of that quite as much, but it's a great opportunity for businesses to just provide users with really visually appealing content. The Instagram grid naturally provides you with like that need to know more, almost the FOMO, like, oh, what else do they have? This looks so nice. Let's see what else. And so it kind of increases the chances that users will click on the more eye-catching photos, hence learning about our offerings and building awareness about what we do. So this right here, I really love this. This is like the 3-grid photo. I don't actually know what it's called, but it's like where you tie 3 photos, but individual photos, but they're clearly telling a story right there. And so that was about our Christmas tree lighting. And it was a great way to tell everyone about our Christmas tree lighting 3 times in a row without having to like come up with new content, but to just have this big story to tell. So we've got an ice skater here, and we've got the slide, and we've got, of course, the street lighting, but it was all having this light blue overlay on it that it's all very Christmas-like. So that's just a great way. It's something that a lot of businesses do, a lot of Instagram influencers do. So I feel like we kind of have an influencer look, which is very visually appealing, but not obnoxious. But yeah, it just adds a bit of polish and shows that we're very intentional about what we put on our platforms. And of course, it helps to build awareness about our department. Then we have Twitter. Twitter is difficult. Twitter has a lot of busy content, so it's sometimes a little bit hard to engage people. We're really lucky that the city of Sugar Land has quite a few engaged followers there, so we like to share a lot of their posts and just kind of bring people over to our Twitter. So we don't receive a whole lot of organic engagement through Twitter right now, but we focused on department news and just kind of like the big picture events going on. And like I said, we share a lot of tweets from City of Sugar Land and Visit Sugar Land as well. And the last feature that we really hone in are the stories. So stories are not their own platform. It's actually just a popular feature for Facebook and Instagram. It shows posts for about 24 hours and then it goes away forever unless you add it to like a highlight reel. And they're just really great for giving the viewer a glimpse behind the scenes. Sometimes the pictures aren't, the prettiest, but they're interesting, and you want your viewers to know about that, and they love to know really what goes on backstage or behind the scenes. So just really highlighting aspects and telling a story of an event or activity that you may not want to post 10 times about on your main feed, because then people are just going to get sick of you and unfollow you. So we've had some really fun engagement, particularly in the last few months. There was a huge spike in Facebook engagement from October to January. And I didn't really look into it to see if there was an algorithm change. So the only thing that I could say is that fishing post got so much engagement that Facebook was like, okay, let's highlight Sugar Land on everything. So we were just getting, typically, we get around 20, 30, 40 likes, and that's good. We were getting 200 likes every day for like a few weeks. Like it was between 100 and 200 on a normal basis. Not every single post, but a lot of posts. And then it just kind of, went away, but we went back to normal. But it was just great because we probably got quite a few followers and just got a lot of engagement. So these are some engagement highlights that I liked. There was I did a little word scramble that showed what kind of parks are you gonna visit in 2022? And I had a word scramble, and the city of Sugar Land, Kayla, who manages it, she sent a gift and said, "We love this," and I was just like, "Oh, thank you." I thought that was just a really fun moment between us, and then a few other users came on and were like, "Someone's getting a raise," and it was just very fun. Just great time for engagement. It was just great to like share the love. And then here we had another like, not a gift war, but just like a gift celebration, just a lot of, I shared a post of Ron Swanson and I superimposed the logo of the city of Sugar Land on his monitor. And then I also added a frame of the town square in the background. It was very funny, y'all should look it up. Then a user said, "This weather is the worst," which is a reference from the TV show Parks and Recreation. So obviously we're very closely tied to that show because everyone's like, is what you do really like the show? And we're like, sometimes. So we just had a lot of fun moments with them. And then of course, as I said, this wonderful fishing post that just shot us in the spotlight for 3 months, which was really, really fortunate. And with that, I am done, and that concludes our very informative and totally entertaining social media overview. So thank you for your time, and please feel free to ask me questions if you have any. Yes, Joan?
Considered stand-up comedy.
I think they moved me off the stage. I'd just be talking about social media all day, so they'd be like, "Okay, get some new material."
One of the videos on that you were part of a video. I remember seeing you on some of them, the clips that the city of Sugar Land were doing. I mean, is there like a group that y'all just use?
You know, sometimes the communications department will reach out to just the city and be like, "Who wants to be an actor for a day?" Or just like anyone, especially
like
like
trash can.
if they're doing a video in a park,
Yeah.
like they'll ask
The park.
us to, yeah.
The sandwich one, is that the one you're?
Is it the sandwich one? It was when,
Having a picnic. On the
yeah, we were having a picnic and Nicole comes in and where's Nicole from? Treasury? No, where is she from?
You know.
Animal services.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and she just came in like a giant hurricane because it was supposed to be a weather thing. Yeah. So it was a really good sandwich. So the leader that you see on my face, was actually very depressed. She just ruined.
Oh, no.
Yes, Gilbert.
I had a question. So how do we compare with the other cities? Does Missouri City have something like this with Facebook and Twitter?
Missouri City is a
or
hard one to
Stafford or-
compare
or
because they
Bobby?
just got their own Parks and
Okay.
Recreation Facebook page independent from the city.
Okay.
So obviously we're really far ahead
We're
because our
actually ahead.
Facebook page has
Okay.
been around so much more.
Right.
But we have
The only thing
I would
ask
say
is-
that we're definitely up there. Like we have about as many followers now as the city of Sugar Land.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is I wonder if there's any ideas that we can garner from. I'm
yeah,
not sure who else
absolutely.
is doing it, but.
We don't call it stealing, we call it research.
Oh, right.
Definitely research from other
It's on the
cities
public,
all
so
the
it's-
time. Well, especially during the
Comments.
pandemic, there was just so much
Sure.
virtual stuff going on and it
Right.
was wonderful to see all the ideas. And
Right.
so we tried to do some, virtual bingo and we had a great virtual summer series and
Okay.
that was, I kept pointing to Brianna because she was the master.
guru.
Yeah. She was the one that kind of headed all that up, but
All right, cool.
yeah.
Hey, Heather.
Yes, Heather.
I follow you on Instagram, and I just like to say the stories, they're really engaging, and like anytime you post a story, like during an event, it's always like, it catches my attention, and I'll end up like going.
Oh,
It's like,
good.
oh, I didn't know it was happening right now, so it's like,
Yeah.
hey guys, let's go.
Yeah, it's tough because like we don't want to we want to post before them and we don't have much visually to show, and so like as soon as the event starts, I'm like liking pictures, trying to be like, come to this event, it's so great. But yeah,
It's amazing when we do it during events because people are like, well, I didn't even know this was going on. It's like, we advertise it on the same platform that you're seeing.
It's so much, it's a different factor. It really does make a difference. Yeah, I see your post on Instagram.
oh, good.
Definitely, yeah, for people that didn't find out until they saw stuff.
Right.
Usually on Facebook, but.
Yeah, and that's why we take
like 3 days later.
even for like our more like mini series kind of events. Like we have a photographer that comes out because there's just so many moments that we're in the moment trying to serve our community and trying to put on, at certain booths and stuff. And so that visual content is super, super important in actually getting people to come to the future events. So.
Any other questions or comments? Tricia, you are spot on tonight.
My job is.
The comment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next item we have on here is Brianna Williams, review of and discussion on proposed special events for fiscal year 2022.
Right, I'm following the instructions. Here we go. All right. Let's go to the first slide. As Jen mentioned, I'm Brianna, the event production manager for the city of Sugar Land. I'm housed in the Parks and Recreation Department, although y'all only see me once a year or at the events if it comes in. Thanks Trisha for making us look so good on social media. I'm just sitting here, the content, and then automatically it appears looking very pretty and polished. What I'll be doing here is pretty much going over all of the events that we plan and house within the Parks and Recreation Department. Just a little bit about myself for those who don't know. I'm housed under Kimberly, and I do have a 2.5-man staff. That's me, 1 full-time coordinator and 1 part-time coordinator. And then sometimes Kimberly helps us on the side a lot. She's pretty much at majority of our special events, and she always lends a helping hand. So we got a little extra. Today, I will be providing a full overview of all of our special events that we have throughout the city for FY 2022. With that, I'll also be highlighting all the activities that we have at them, or at least some of the activities that we have at them, and also going over the beer and wine that is included at some of these events, because that was a hot topic from the last time I presented to you guys. We pretty much picked which events we would have beer and wine inclusion at, and since then it's really picked up. We have an in-kind sponsor for some of our events. They helped us in 2021, and they are also now helping us in 2022. So we'll go over that in full details. I'm supposed to plug them because I want to. It's St. Arnold, so they're pretty much graciously doing in-kind and giving us a ton of their product, and then we then turn around and give it out to the event attendees for free. So it's a win-win.
Cool. Is there a sampling that happens before the?
Not for me. I do want to set up a
I'll like to
visit.
volunteer for this.
I want to set up a visit, at least for us, like after hours or something, just to say thank you and maybe present them with an award that we won.
Random interjection. They
Well,
do
we haven't yet.
tasting classes and they're amazing.
Really, tasting classes.
For you if you ask.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so this is a full-blown snapshot of our event calendar for FY 2022. I plugged in some bullets here. You don't have to read this all because I'll go through them in full detail a little later, but this kind of just shows what our calendar looks like. We have 16 events total for FY 2022 over the course of 26 days, because some of them are actually series events. I think we have 4 or 5 PARCS event series, and they're 3 days each. So we do have over the course of 26 days. They're randomly throughout the entire year. The only month that we don't have anything is January. And then this actually takes place throughout the entire city in different parks and also other facilities. So we have 10 different locations that we're hosting at. So we have a little bit of everything everywhere. Now what I will do is I will go through the events in detail. I kind of clumped them into seasons. They're not in chronological order. So let's just go through them. If you have questions, feel free to ask while we're going through it, or we can save the questions for the end if you like. It's completely up to you. With the spring events, we have our Yappy Hour series. They actually start this week. Is our first one on Thursday. And then they're gonna be every Thursday from here on out for 3 Thursdays. It's the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. They're from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's the first one of our Park Series events. There's also a couple of other ones throughout the year that you'll also see, but this is catered to our Palm Springs Dog Park and all of the dogs that'll be there. We have several different pet businesses that will come out for free. They literally, all we do is say, please have a space at the event, and if you can then turn around and give out samples, treats, etc. for the duration of the event, it's completely free for them to be there. And then it also gives the attendees a lot of things to walk away with at the end of it. We had spray painting on site, nail trimming, all types of things for your dogs while there. This is also an event where we have our beverage vendor on site, so we will be giving 2 adult beverages per event attendee if they're over 21, so it's perfect. Then we have our Sugar Gala also in February. This one is an Imperial Park Recreation Center event. It's pretty much a father-daughter dance. It's themed every year and it's pretty cool. Every year it's different. This year's themes is rainbows and unicorns, so it should be very fun if anybody actually goes to it. Also, we have the Art of Wining and Dining. We talked about this and we were like, is it called the Art of Wining and Dining or Art of Wining and Dining? We landed at the Art of Wining and Dining. So this one will take place in Sugarland Town Square. It's a partnership between us and Town Square Management where we pretty much go half on everything. It's set up like a brunch almost where we invite out most of the restaurants that are on site to provide some sort of food activity. And then we have live music. We set up tables and things like that for people to be able to sit at and enjoy pretty much a brunch type atmosphere. Also with this event, we do have our artists and vendors that usually come out and host food spaces and also other crafts on site. Also, and pretty much the next one in March will be our chess festival. This is our 2nd year hosting this event. Last year it was a day-long chess tournament. This time we're kind of turning it into more of a chess festival. We still have the mini chess tournaments on site, which you can register for either ahead of time for some of them and then on site for some of them. But we also have community booths that'll be on site. We'll have open play chess tables, etc. And we are doing this event in partnership with the Chess Refinery. Also in the spring is a busy time for us because it's so pretty outside, so we try to take advantage of it. Also in the spring, we have our International Art and Kite Festival. With this event, it's at Bryce River Park, usually from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This one, we have a cultural stage that we set up with different community booths or cultural performers. There'll also be community booths on site. With this event, we tried this before where we did the color powder fireworks because it's a daytime event. So we're gonna try that again this year. For this one, we have artists and booths on site. We have a kids area. We'll also try this year to do the beverages at this event. It's a longer event and it's at Bryce River Park, so it's a little different from what we have done in the past with the beverage vendors only for the 2-hour Park Series events. Also in the spring, kind of wrapping up the spring, is our Memorial Day ceremony. This one is planned more as a program. We have it complete at Sugarland Memorial Park with seating for about 500 on site. With that, we usually invite our mayor or council to come out and speak. We have some other guest speakers. We try to get the military vehicles out there. We set up different booths and activities on site. We don't have sponsorships for this one, like paid sponsorships, but we do have a lot of community organizations that want to participate, like the military moms and different places that want to do care packages and things like that. Going into our summer event series, we have a couple of different park event series events. Those will be like the Food Truck Fridays, the movies that will take place at Orchard Creek Park, and then the Party on the Plazas as well. Some of them will happen on Thursdays. The series will happen on Thursdays. With the Thursdays, we're doing the happy hours, Bites and Brews, and also this Party on the Plaza series. The Party on the Plaza series takes place at Smart Financial Center, so it's easier for us to try to tie down a Thursday instead of a Friday or a weekend. So that works well. For this one, we do have the desserts and the beverages. The food truck Fridays, we have 2 of those. We have one that caters to the DJs that will be on site, and then that one will be the one at Smart Financial Center. We also have one that will be centered around movies, and that one will be at Oyster Creek Park, which we did last year, or in a couple years in a row. And Oyster Creek Park just works well for those movies and things like that, so we're gonna continue to do it at, for that one as well. Also, we have our Red, White, and Boom. This one is the largest event that we host for the city. We usually bring out about 25,000 people for that one. We did do ticketed at one point, just to kind of see who would actually sign up for the free tickets. But in general, this is pretty much a free for all right at the Crown Festival Park. With this one, it's pretty much all about food, family, and fireworks. So we pride ourselves on having one of the largest fireworks shows in Fort Bend County. It's about 15 minutes long, but the largest is more so catered to the size of our shells. Our shells range from 3-inch shells all the way up to 12-inch shells. So we have the big booms at the end. With that one, we also have different children activities and things like that on site. And for this one, we also have VIP areas. So we usually try to make sure we send out our invites to Parks Board, as well as council and upper management and all of our sponsors, so that they can have a dedicated space on site. Also in the summer, or wrapping up the summer, is our Parks and Rec movie night. It's kind of geared and tied, that one's in July, but right after that is our movie series. So it's kind of all in a row for us. With that one, the Park and Rec movie night is on a Friday. So we will have very similar things that we would also have at the park movie series for that one. Family movies, food trucks, lawn games, etc. Then moving into the fall, we have our Bikes and Brews series. It's a park series event as well, but this one is at Brazos River Park. And we have out there our mountain bikers who love to be out there. So they will have some of the same things that we would have at all of the other park series, but now kind of centered around our mountain bikers. We will have community booths on site, same thing, food, the beverages, and also bikes. Also in the fall will be our fall festival right here in Sugarland Town Square. This year is going to be our first year actually hosting it in person, because last year we did it all virtual online. We had a scavenger hunt and some other in-person activities, but on the day of, most of it was us pushing out different videos that Trisha actually created on our social media page. So it's still from 10 to 3, but it was all virtual. So this year will be our first year bringing that virtual crowd into the actual space and doing the same things that we did, but actually on site. So we'll see what our crowd looks like. It'll have artisan booths. We'll have some, we had polka dots, the polka band last year. I don't know if we're gonna have them again, but we'll see who we have this year. Beverage stations, food booths, etc. on site for that one. It kind of took the place of our old Halloween Town. Halloween Town still is done, but it's at Constellation Field now with the owners. But now we have our fall festival that actually takes place here, starting from the ground up and then building it back up. And then we also have Imperial Park Recreation Center's haunted house this year. Last year we tried trunk or treat for the first time, which was really successful. Now we're going back to what they traditionally do there, which is their haunted house. They have so much fun turning the recreation center into a full-blown haunted house area, and they try to also keep the kiddos in mind and do a little area for them as well. And last but not least on our calendar of events are our winter events. We have our Christmas tree lighting, which takes place right here in Sugarland Town Square. A lot of you probably have been to that one because this one has been around for a long time. We have holiday themed activities on site. We light the Christmas tree, although it's technically lit a couple days before the event, but we officially light it with Santa and Mayor and everybody else on site. And we've been toying with fireworks for this one for a couple of years now, and it seems like it's gonna be a staple. It's here to stay. We don't do our New Year's event that we used to host, so this is our way of kind of still tying in fireworks in December. And it works well. We light them off of the roof of City Hall. And then we also have our senior holiday gala that takes place every year. It's a ticketed event specifically for our seniors that go to our senior center. They usually have they get really dressed up, they dance really nicely, and then they have live music, and registration is required for that one. That covers most of the events, but we do have, as they say, with the other duties assigned, we have some other events that take place throughout the year. These are they change every year. There are ceremonial events, and we do those for the city in different areas depending on what we need them for and when we need them. This is just a highlight of some of them that we are hosting or have hosted. We've done a parklet opening on October 27th. We do have another one that's supposed to be coming up winter 2022. And then we had the T. Harmon Center ribbon cutting that took place last year as well. We host every year one sponsor appreciation night. Last year, you guys probably knew about it because it was in partnership with y'all at Constellation Field. This year's kickoff event will be March 18th at Smart. We also have the Eagle Plaza ribbon cutting that's going to be coming up soon. And then we have other grand openings or project or ribbon cuttings, unveilings, etc. throughout the year. What we will do is when these things come up, as well as all of the other events that we host, we typically get with Trisha, and she sends the general information, or Joe will present it in his director's report so that you guys can always know exactly what's going on and when it's going on. But I come once a year, maybe twice sometimes, to talk to you guys, but just to give you a refresher. But overall, this is pretty much what we have throughout the year. And with that, I will take questions.
Heather?
I just have one question. Great job, by the way. I love all your events. And just curious, I think I asked is Sugarland not going to have a New Year's event ever again? Is that?
Well, we internally wouldn't plan it and manage it all on our own, but there's always the possibility of a third party coming and hosting a New Year's event. And I do think that Sugarland has some events that take place on New Year's. I want to say Smart Financial Center has been hosting a comedy show for the last couple of years, but it's a ticketed and paid event. For us, I don't think we would be looking into absorbing the full cost and also hosting it like we had in the past.
The Constellation Field also has a New Year's.
Yeah. I think they they do fireworks on New Year's night, but it's in conjunction with their holiday ones.
Okay, so we don't do it like we did in the past, because now there are these other events that kind of happen at the same time, so we don't want to overshadow them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned artisan booths and community booths. How does an artisan get in contact? I guess probably Facebook page or?
Yeah, Facebook or all of our events are posted on our city's website.
Oh, no, city website.
As well.
Okay.
But for most of them, we will do an all call to artisans on our social media pages and things like that. The applications usually live on our webpage as well. That way they can sign up or send in an application to me directly. It'll come to me.
Right.
And then we usually can vet them out and have them at the events.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Actually, a request from me, if I may. Thank you for that. That was very good. In fact, that slideshow was very informative. Is there a way that you could share in PDF if you don't want to send the original out, a PDF of the file?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I'd just like to add, we look forward to actually doing the international festival again, because this year my son's like more involved in doing all the martial arts stuff, so he's trying to get way more creative and stuff, and so he wants to be not headlining that part, but he just wants to do more. So I told him like, yeah, we can make sure we sign up do like the other years before?
Yes, we will have the signups available, so you can do it through our website or our social media page. And thank you so much for taking photos at them when you do come
Yeah.
out to them.
Oh, yeah, no.
And for International Art and Kite Festival, we usually invite Parks Board to be a part of that event by judging some of the contests on site. We will be sending that out as well soon, so that you guys can have the opportunity to be a part of it.
Yeah, I love doing the food one. It was good.
All right. Joan?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. Everything that I've ever gone to that you have been in charge of has been just so organized. I mean, I'm just in awe. I was at the Christmas tree lighting. We go to the Memorial Day ceremony every year. And everything is just so organized, and I don't know how you do it. That's really my question, but it's just amazing. So thank you for all the work that you and your team do.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Brianna. I appreciate your presentation.
All right.
All right. Next, we have Mr. Joe Treasure, Director of Public Parks and Recreation, for the Director's Report.
Good evening, and I'm very fortunate to have such talented staff working here for us. As you can see, you don't get to see Brianna, but very often, but she does a fantastic job, and she does it with very little additional staffing to help. So hats off to everything they do. Okay, I think most of y'all have seen this art piece that was presented by Susanna Gray a while back. And so it's completed now, and it's going to be installed at Lonnie Green Park. It's really interesting art piece. It's made from like recycled propane or butane tanks. And so it's an artist that uses that material and creates different artistic elements with it. This one actually is it's a bench. It's a little hard to tell from this picture, but it's a bench. But it's a kind of it looks like an alligator sort of. It's kind of a symbolic alligator. So it's going to go at a slab right as you go into the playground area there at Lonnie Green Park. And so it hasn't been set yet, but it's been the construction of it's completed and the slabs there. So it's just a matter of getting it here and getting it set. So just kind of one of the elements that the city's really trying to do to bring in more public art into spaces, and it's not, really art of all different kind of scales, rather from, kind of small neighborhood scale all the way up to much broader or bigger type scale of artwork.
You said it's like a bench. Is it intended for people to?
It is a bench, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And it's kind of right there by the entrance, so that's probably something that, probably be inviting for kids to come,
Sure,
climb on a little bit, but its goal is to make it as a bench. And so one other really important thing that we did this last month, or actually into January, was we held an open house here in the lobby of City Hall, just to get some additional input from our seniors for the future of the seniors program and an expansion of that program, and ultimately probably a new facility would come out of this, all the work that we're doing on that. And so we had about 35 seniors that came out that night, provided input. They went around and there was information. First, they started off in this room with a video, kind of an overview of the whole project and all the work that's gone into it. And wanted to point out Trisha did the voiceover for the video. So she's another one of our hidden talents there, is doing voiceover work. And we were amazed. There were several seniors that sat through it several times. So they were just really mesmerized by our voice, I guess. They just couldn't leave. They just so they went through the video, and then they came out into the lobby, and we had various boards set up around where they could go and kind of vote for different things. And we talked about things like how far would they be willing to drive to a senior center. And we're doing that because the location that we have it right now has been popular, But to really expand the center, we're pretty limited in space, right? There's a lot of constraints on that site. So we're trying to get a handle on, if we did have to relocate it somewhere else, how comfortable would the seniors be in driving to get there? We wanted to know, also, we've got ways of knowing and mapping where all the seniors are, but we also just had the attendees say where they were. And then it really focused on some of their specific areas of interest. Like, for example, we had a lot of people that are really interested in pickleball, which is pretty popular with kind of seniors, but the younger, more active type seniors. So we had folks for that. We had, people for all different kind of things that we provided seniors for their games or artwork or art classes and that sort of thing, dance classes. We have just pretty good input on that. It's just a project that we'll continue to work on over time. Next slide. Oh. There it is. All right. Last meeting, Jen, I think you asked the question. Did we come up with what were the official names for the trails? And so I think between the staff here, we kind of told you what it was, but I'm not sure if we really answered the question very well. So wanted to include that this month, that these were the trail names that council ultimately approved. And so most of them are pretty much just tied to the location where they are. Sugar Mill Trail is a trail that runs kind of from Eldridge Road over to City Park along the drainage channel there. New Territory Trail is a new trail that's going to go through Territory and connect from New Territory to Telfair over to probably the Ditch H Trail. The Ditch H Trail, which we've been calling it for years, is now the Sugarland Trail. And that's the trail that'll run it runs really all the way through the heart of Sugarland from the north side of town, all the way down to the Brazos River Park. And a lot of these other trails, either whether the trail will connect to it or a trail and maybe via roads will connect to that trail and really help get people from north and south through Sugarland. And then the First Colony trails, there's some of the trails that are already in First Colony. The project we're doing right now will link those together. And then from those linkages, get you over to what will be the Sugarland Trail or Ditch H Trail. So I think that, and then the one other one that I missed was Ganaway Lake, which is Ganaway Lake is up on the north side of town right at the intersection of Bernie Road and Walsh Road. We own about 40 acres of undeveloped land up there. Actually, the lake's about 40 acres. We actually own about 70 acres there. And we're looking to expand that site in the not too distant future. We've been hosting a COVID testing site out at Brazos River Park. I might have kicked off about the time that our last meeting was, but it's run by the county. It's a partnership the city have with the county. It's not necessarily our department, but we're just allowing it to happen there at Brazos River Park because you've got a big parking lot that people can queue cars through and back up without getting cars backed up onto the major roadways. And they haven't had near the number of people coming in and getting tested like they thought they would. They kind of ramped this up right as the Omicron was kicking off, and they thought there'd be a big rush of people coming in to get tested. And it just really hasn't turned out that way. So I believe probably at the end of this month, that'll probably be the final month. We've been doing it month by month with an agreement with the county. And I think they'll probably do it through this month and probably stop at that point. And hopefully, it won't ramp up another variant ramp up and have to open it back up again. A partnership project that we just completed. This was with First Colony Community Service Association. They had started a playground really close to homes in a section of First Colony, and the residents kind of came out against it. They didn't like it because it was so close to the houses that were there. So they reached out to us, and this is in the same general area, but our park was bigger and had more space, and they could locate it here and not be like right on top of other residents' backyards. So they paid for all the playground equipment, the installation, all the fall service and everything that goes along with it. And then we signed a agreement with them that they will continue to do the maintenance on it. Because this fall surface material that you see, this is kind of a loose wood fiber material, and it kind of settles over time. It settles down and we have to top it. So we agreed to taking the playground if they would continue to top that surface there on the playground over the years. So it is complete now and open. It's turned out really nice. It's a large playground. It's in the Meadow Lakes subdivision. You know where that is. And the Eagle Plaza, which we've visited with you about over probably the last year, between the fundraising that was done for it through private donations and then the design, and now we've just completed the construction of it. And on your list of ribbon cuttings, other duties is assigned, is the opening, kind of the ribbon cutting grand opening, which we're targeting the end of March for that. It's finished. We just wanted to give the time for the grass to green up, the trees to leaf out, so it'll be a little prettier in March. And so it'll be a good time to hold a ribbon cutting and photo opportunity there. This was all through donations through the Sugar Land Legacy Foundation. Into January, we held our disc golf tournament, our annual disc golf tournament. It's held at Imperial Park on our disc golf course there. I don't remember how many years we've been doing this now, but there was this is probably about the 10th anniversary of this disc golf tournament that we hold there. And it continues to get more and more popular, and they always fill out their registration. They cap their registration at 110 players. And so it fills up really fast, and they had a beautiful day for it this year. It went really, really well. They're all very complimentary of the city and the complex there. And league opening days are coming up, and we'll send y'all out more information on these. You're always welcome to come out and be recognized. Council members are there, and then the league folks are there. You're welcome to come out if you'd like. They're usually they're on Saturday morning, March 5th, February 26th. The First Colonial League, they're still kind of planning theirs, I think. They've said that they're probably going to do something small. They still want to be, have concerns with COVID, so they're still trying to keep everybody spread out and everything. So I think they're still kind of doing their final planning, but then on March 5th, I've got Sugar Land Little League. And then we mentioned the Sugar Gala and father-daughter dance earlier in Brianna's presentation. So, and that's the Imperial Park Recreation Center. This has been a growing and popular event. Our rec center staff does a great job of decorating the gym and turning it into a dance club or something kind of magical. So that's coming up then. And our other one was the happy hour, which I won't go into any more detail. Brianna did a great job of covering that, but it's going to be over 3 Thursdays in February, the 10th, 17th, and 24th at the dog park. And this will be the second time we've held this series. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Anybody has any?
All right, well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I will note that the senior center survey and Trish's excellent voiceover are still available on the website. Yeah. That's SugarlandTX.gov/senior center study. Yes, if you want to check that out. We appreciate your input. We're taking input from everybody. You don't have to be plus everybody's input as well.
I'm gonna follow Tricia on Instagram to get all the notes. With that said, I will call for a motion for adjournment. Joan,
I'll make the motion.
thank you. Joan, Heather, appreciate it.